Today, I came for Papa Emeka, Papa Nkechi. Listen to me, my brothers from the East. Now, many of you blame your wife why they give birth to girls. I need a boy that will be in charge of my inheritance. Now, the question is that you ask yourself, is it your wife's duty to give you a boy? You will go to the bank and deposit naira. Then at the end of your fixed deposit, you are expecting $1. Hope it's not going to hear me. Back to my gist. There's something you must understand about a boy child and a girl child. Two things that are involved. You as a man, you have what we call two chromosomes. It's called the X and the Y chromosome. I don't want to speak big English. Y for boy, X for girls. Now, how do we mean by the X and the Y chromosome? The woman has only one chromosome, X. So, if you give her X and she join her own X to your X, you'll get a girl. If you give her Y, she join her X to your Y, it will give you a bouncing baby boy. They call it Papa Bomb Boy. Thank you. Now, X and Y chromosomes. On a more serious note, you must understand something about this. How can I give X? How can I give Y chromosome? Now, there are millions of sperms that goes into the woman's ovaries. Millions. The Y chromosome is very fast. That's why a boy is very fast. Why the X chromosome is slower, but the Y chromosome dies faster. The Y chromosome, when they enter into the ovaries, they spend 24 to 48 hours in the ovaries, and at the end of the day, they die off. Then the X chromosome spend 72 hours to, if possible, 120 hours. That is almost like 5 days. Now, how can I make this possible for me to get a boy child? Because many of you like boy child, especially my brothers, those in Papa Emeka, Papa Chibuzo, they like boy child. Papa Nkechi, boy child. Everybody needs a boy child to take over his inheritance. How do you do this now? There are 2 cycles in a woman. In all these shenanigans, a woman has 28 days menstrual cycle. Some have 30 days menstrual cycle. The sperm that goes into a woman fertilizes the egg only when she's on her ovulation. How do you do this calculation for ovulation? For those that are 28 day cycle, they have what we call their ovulation starts at the 14th day. That's 28 divided by 2, 14. The one that has the 30-day cycle, their ovulation starts on the 15th day. Now, if you go in before the 14th day, probably you go in 5 days, okay, you will born the girl. You go born girl, because the Y will run. After 2 days, you don't die. Then the X will remain, because it's only within the ovulation period that a woman fertilizes. That means the eggs fertilizes the sperms that goes into her ovaries. Here. If you go in probably within the ovulation period, there's high tendency biologically that you will give birth to a boy child. Please stop harassing our women and say you are giving me get. When you deposit naira, you want to go and withdraw pounds. Are you not a criminal? Are you not a thief? When you go to deposit the right stuff. Go in at the right time. When you go in at the right time, within that ovulation frame, before she enters into her next menstrual cycle. Obviously, if she fertilizes, she will not even get into the next menstrual cycle. She will not get into the next menstrual cycle. So you must go within that period of ovulation if you want a boy child. And in all this, God is the ultimate. Yes, biological have their own interpretation to things, but God is the ultimate to giving birth to a boy or a girl child. So my brothers from the east, Papa Ikechi, Papa Chibuzo, let me tell you something. Do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you get the right result. Stop harassing your wife. She only has X. You have X and Y. When you go in at the right time, your Y that runs faster will hit her X and you get a boy. When you go in at the wrong time, your Y will run fast and die because there's no egg for them to fertilize. And at the end of the day, you give birth, it will not remain X, and you give birth to a girl child, a fine girl. So if you are looking for a boy child, you know what to do. If you are looking for a girl child, you know what to do. Like I said, God in heaven is the ultimate of all. He's the one that gives children. He's the one that determines sex. This is only biological combination. Thank you. Have a nice day.